Well, good morning. You can probably see that beautiful colour already coming up on the horizon. Unfortunately, so before I say unfortunately, let me tell you what I was expecting. So last night as I went to bed, I looked at the Clear Outside app, and that app had 100% high cloud, which if we look over here, there is some, but it's not 100%. In fact, the sky is pretty clear, I think, but it looks like some might be actually forming, but it should already be formed. And really, this particular location lends itself to only shooting east, which is where the sun rises. And yeah, it's quite difficult to shoot after sunrise or right at sunrise. However, I've got here about an hour before sunrise, maybe 45 minutes. And I've still got another 10 minutes or so of walking to do, and as you can see, there's already absolutely amazing colour starting to appear. So I need to get set up and get some photos before the sun comes up. And it is freezing as well. Boy, boy, very cold morning. I think I'm going to have to get the gloves on. It's always hard when you've got to carry about a 12 kilo pack of gear and then in the sand just to make it even more fun. That's photography for you, isn't it? Anyway, that's enough of me rambling on. Let's make some images, eh? Alright, so my biggest challenge is finding a composition. I've shot here a couple of times before. I'm trying not to pick the same thing I have in the past because it's very appealing. So I'm just having a look around where the water's sort of rushing in between these rocks, just to see if I can find something that is going to be super appealing. This is coming up in here. It's beautiful movement. There's just so many different compositions here that it actually is quite difficult. You know, it's one of those spots that we're a bit spoilt for choice. And whilst that is awesome, it's also makes it quite a challenge to pick something. So, actually quite like this if these rocks aren't too slippery. There we go. Can I get something here? I actually think if I set up on these rocks, I could get away with it. Although it is extremely slippery. It's still very dark, this camera. I mean, I've got a light on this camera these days, but yeah, it doesn't show how dark it is. I think I'm going to sit up on this rock because I think I'll be quite okay here. The tide's coming in, so I've got a little bit of time, but if I'm up higher on a rock, I can probably get away with shooting without getting wet. All right, let's set up and we'll see how we go. All right. I've changed my composition. Many different reasons, mainly because the rocks I was on were super slippery and I didn't think it was a good idea to stay on those. Second reason is all the high cloud is off to the north, and I want to make sure that I'm in a position where I can shift the camera as the sun rises to get that. So I'm setting up here, and then yeah, I'm just going to have to be pretty fluid. The colour is just amazing already. One of those things where the best colours before sunrise today, although the sunrise colours will be amazing as well. We've still got half an hour before sunrise and I actually feel like I've missed the best colour, which is shocking really. But that's the reason why it's so important to get where you're going early. And I probably didn't settle on my composition quick enough, so I've mucked around too much, and now as a result of that I've probably missed the best colour, but there's still a lot of good colour to be had. So we can make an image this morning, there's no doubt about it. So I'll stop talking and I'll just get on with it. See all the boats are heading out for the morning, which is great news. They're obviously looking forward to a good fish. Well, we're going to make an image. Alrighty, so I've started. I've sort of got a composition picked out. I can guarantee you that I'm not 100% happy just yet. I think the colour's still got to come good, and I need to get some filters in, and I don't know, I'm just feeling a little bit rushed this morning for some reason. I think sometimes, you know, it just doesn't flow as nicely as others, and this morning is definitely one of those mornings. So that's all right though. That's part of the game, isn't it? Is making just making do when you've got to. I suppose I'm fortunate. The weather's good, considering how bad the weather has been lately. But beautiful colour in the sky. But like I said, I think I've missed the best colour. But just have to make do with what I can. So I'm just currently setting up my filter set because it's definitely going to be needed. The foreground is super dark compared to the sky. So the only way to settle that down is to put this filter on. I've got a couple of things in mind this morning. I've actually got my tilt shift lens with me that I like to use for panoramic images. What have we got there? I don't really need my glasses on, I think. Can't see what I'm doing. So, that one there is the one I want. Just tell by how dark it is. Alright, let's stick that in. So that's a 0.9 grab, which is 3 stops for the sky. As soon as I put that in, it's definitely going to make a difference. Let's just take. That water is beautiful, coming up in between the rocks. Yeah. Okay, very cool. So let's move you out of the way because you're actually in shot, believe it or not. But it's so rocky here. I don't have anywhere easy to put you. Well, something that I don't normally do is double graduated filters, because normally it's not warranted, but this morning I'm just struggling to get a good exposure without really dropping the exposure value right down. So I'm going to put another soft grad, and it's really just the light on the horizon more than anything. It's just making it super difficult. But we're going to see what that does. Well, that does better. There we go. So that's 1.2 now, all up. Stops down, and I'm minus 1.7 EV off just to try and get something. There we go. It's quite dark in the corners though. So that's what I don't like about it. It really does darken my corners down. So sometimes you just got to try and work out what's going to be best. I think what I'll do is I'll go back to just having one in there for now, and I'll just have to fix it up in post-production and hope the shadows pull up without too much issue. But yeah, we're still a good 20 minutes away from sunrise, and there's some really nice colour already over that way, so I'm going to just change my composition slightly. Include some of these other rocks and things. Yeah, maybe something like that looks nice. And see if we can just get those colours coming up. I might just tilt the graduated filter a little bit so we don't miss out on everything. And I'll use a live view to get myself nice and level, which is good. I'm at f9. I might just go up to f11 just to get a longer shutter speed because it's still not where I want it. I'm going to go back down to -2. Then I need to put the autofocus on just to get it to focus. And away we go. Some beautiful colour in the sky. Just a beautiful morning, so very excited by that. Just waiting for the water to come up this little channel in front of me. Alright, going to pop a circular polarising filter in now as well, and just to try and get the reflections off of the water. That's definitely that way. Very difficult when shooting into the sun to use a CPL. Also got to put my soft grad in as well, and hopefully it's not going to be overdoing it. And you'll notice I've also changed to portrait orientation, so just trying a couple of different compositions to see what we get. Just previewing that. Some very, very minute blown highlights. But yeah, not getting the amazing colour yet that I want, but we're still a bit from sunrise. I think if there was more cloud in the sky, we would have got that colour that was sort of promised. There we go. I don't know about you, or if you've ever had one of these mornings where you just feel like you've got to work so hard for the shot. This morning is one of those mornings for me where I just don't feel like I've nailed it. And to the point where I even go, well, will I even release this video or show anyone this photo? But I think I will, because you have to share your struggles, don't you? Because that's part of the process. It would be easy just to post all the good stuff, but what I might talk about is why I think I'm struggling, and that is, there's a couple of things. Number one, this location. I came to this location because the Clear Outside app told me there was going to be 100% cloud up high. And there is some up there, but it's not 100%, so the sky's not as interesting as it could be. And this location, there's a lot of foreground, there's some great background, there's no mid-ground, and there's a lot of sky with a wide-angle lens. And so it really relies on the sky going off, I think, to work well in this location. There's not enough other interests in the scene. I'll let you be the judge. You can tell me when you look at the photo. Yeah, so I think that's probably the key thing, is that makes it quite difficult. And I think there's also an element of disappointment because the forecast was wrong, and it has meant that I'm not capturing what I want. And I've got this, I don't know, it's like a curse. And it's funny, I've been listening to quite a few of Kyle McDougall's podcasts. Now, if you haven't listened to that podcast, it's called The Contact Sheet. And he's a film photographer, so if you're not interested in film, you may think it's not going to interest you, but it's really brilliant. What he does is he interviews a lot of photographers, but one of the things that he talks about a lot is the fact that he shifted from being that landscape photographer that always looked for an epic sunrise or sunset, and he shifted his style, and he's just released a photo book which is incredible, of all the photos that he's taken with his medium format film cameras, but he changed his style up, and you go and check it out and you'll see that he photographed all these amazing places, in the southwest, I think it is, of the US, along Route 66, and yeah, it was really quite inspiring. But yeah, I can really relate with the fact that I think you almost set yourself up for failure when you're constantly chasing the light, to use Ken Duncan's term. When you're constantly chasing the epic light or the epic colours, and that way when you don't get them, you get a bit, well, I get a bit disappointed, and which is a shame really, because it's a beautiful morning. There was some nice colour in the sky. I think I should have got here half an hour earlier. Once again, I was here 45 minutes before sunrise, and I wasn't ready. I hadn't picked a composition. I struggled to pick a composition, and then I just haven't really been feeling it. Anyway, I'm sure the images will be okay, and I'm probably being a bit harder on myself than I need to be. And but I'd love to get your thoughts, So down in the comments down below, do you ever have those mornings where it just doesn't feel like it's coming together for you, or those afternoons or those days? And how do you cope with that? What do? Do you just call it quits, pack up and go home, or do you just persevere and do the best with what you've got? Yeah, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Anyway, it is great to be alive. It's good to be out, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and until next time, make sure you get out there and make some images. See ya.